What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. You know, I was watching a video earlier, not purposely, it just randomly landed inside my recommendations. It was like an ASMR video, you know, you can hear all the little sounds and stuff, and I thought, I should try that. Let's give it a go. What's up, grinders? Have you done your Cantonese? How's the sound? You like that? You want more? I got so much more for you guys. But this time, we're going to be reacting to Stuart J. Raj. Now, for those who have been around in the language community long enough, you know this guy. He's got a serious hard-on for everything that's an Asian language. Don't know why. I don't know where the cutoff point is. Like, when does it not fall within the category of he actually enjoys, but he's good at them. So I'm kind of curious to see this video, because look at this. He's got me in the thumbnail there with Matt and a bunch of others, and obviously this is not a real photo. Like, I don't remember this happening. I swear to God, guys, I've never met any of them, okay? But like, this is obviously AI generated, and the first thing I picked out is, why the fuck did the AI make me fat? Bruh. Like, does it really know me that well? Okay, let's watch this. Did I speak from day one to develop a near native fluency?
Did you speak from day one? Before I give you the answer, just have a listen first to the rhythms of my language and a few languages. ตอนนี้ผมจะพูดภาษาไทย
I swear to God, every time I hear Thai, it just sounds like someone, you know, when you're like a little kid and you're trying to make up a language and you're like, hey, let's speak our fake language. Like, I'm not mocking the Thai people. Well, maybe I am in a way, but like, I'm not purposely doing it. It's so unique in how it sounds. Like, there's so many popping sounds to it.
หลายคนเขาถามว่าจำเป็นต้องพูดก่อนตั้งแต่วันแรกในการเรียนภาษา atau bahasa Indonesia. Jadi kalau ngomong bahasa Indonesianya ya logatnya begini. 跟中文一样，有好多人问我，如果学中文的话，那你应该怎么学？要从第一天说，还是慢慢学才说出来？
It's interesting, I'm listening to his Chinese and I can hear his normal voice coming through in his Chinese. And what I mean by his normal voice, it's just like, you know when you listen to someone in another language and sometimes they literally sound like a different human? No, he sounds like Stuart in Mandarin Chinese. Not to say that he's bad. It actually sounded all perfectly, completely fine. It sounded like him. Like, it's kind of a cool thing. And by the way, when we get back to like mocking languages and sounds of languages, I remember when I first started learning Chinese, like before I started learning it, every time I'd hear like my wife and in-laws speaking, I thought they were having a fight. I was like, what's going on out here? What's going on? Why are you guys fighting? They're like, we're not. We're just discussing what's for dinner. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you so like angry sounding? Like, it's just so funny how, you know, the perception of a language completely changes once you actually learn it. Because now it doesn't sound bad to me. But, you know, if I'm chatting with my wife in public, we still get those stares like, what's going on? Why are they fighting?
When you're learning a new language, should you speak from day one? Or should you wait?
Is this choppy? This feels a little bit choppy, but I don't think it's my computer. Maybe it's just the recording.
Now, I heard Matt versus Japan come out and talk about his mind shift about whether or not you should be speaking from day one or waiting first, listening, exposing yourself to native specimens of the language and then speaking. And then I also see people like Evildea. Now, Evildea has been doing his ALG experiment learning Spanish, and I listened to his 1,000 hour of ALG. So that's just listening according to the Dreaming in Spanish program and hearing his progress. And I'm a Spanish speaker too.
Oh God, this must have been so painful for him.
And I was interested to see if somebody just listening to the content would come out sounding normal, like they say, like almost native. And I could hear some fascinating things on his Spanish that came out and stuff that didn't come out. Then you've got people like Steve Kaufman.
Okay, well, I didn't get cooked again. I've been getting cooked left, right, and center over that video recently.
Who's come out, and Steve's big into reading and going through text, understanding the structures of the language, as well as, like, of course, he has his link site out there, so reading through things.
You know, I'm just looking at this photo. What the hell am I talking about? This photo of Steve right now. This looks like the type of, you know, those old school dating profile photos where you like your side, you got a little bit of a, hey, you know, I'm a hyper polyglot. Yeah. What about you? Yeah. I speak like 30 languages. We're going to have so much fun tonight. It's going to be the multilingual Olympics in our room. Like, you know, that type of thing. It's just like, it's just got that old school photo. I love it. I love it.
And getting the language that way in a more traditional way. You hear Luca talking and you see what Luca's been doing. He's right into the assimil method, but that way also you're analyzing the language, and Luca has been known in the past, especially even before AI, to just going through and translating sentences down. And in doing that, you're mapping out the language and getting structures, and you might not be going straight into full speaking, but you are saying things, you're speaking, even if it is that you're hearing the language in your head. When people ask me, did you speak from day one, or did you wait first, expose yourself to the language, and let it come naturally?
This will be interesting to hear his response. I'm not actually too aware of his journey in different languages. I believe he's like basically a linguist, so like he studies sounds and stuff. But I've been told that his Thai is fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal is the word I'm looking for. It's so good. I don't know what's going on with English. Actually, I do know what's going on with English. I just had a Chinese lesson, and it's my brain's cooked.
How did you get natural sounding prosody? Before I give you the answer, just have a listen first to the rhythms of my language and a few languages. ตอนนี้ผมจะพูดภาษาไทยแล้วมีหลายคนเขาถามว่าจำเป็นต้องพูดก่อนตั้งแต่วันแรกในการเรียนภาษาหรือเราต้องเปิดหูฟังเจ้าของภาษาพูดไปก่อนเรามีบางโรงเรียนที่จะให้เรียนจนหลายร้อยชั่วโมงกว่าจะอนุญาตให้พูดออกสักคำหนึ่งได้atau bahasa Indonesia. Jadi kalau ngomong bahasa Indonesianya ya logatnya begini, mungkin logatnya agak mungkin Jakarta, sedikit Jakarta, kadang-kadang ada medoknya dari Jawa, mungkin Surabaya. Tapi ya pasti kalau ngomongnya begini bukannya bahasa baku yang dibelajar dalam buku-bukunya.
Bro, the Indonesian then seems so much faster paced than Thai. And I don't know if that's because Thai, I believe, is his best language. So is Thai just a slower paced language?
中文一样，有好多人问我，如果学中文的话，那你应该怎么学？要从第一天说，还是慢慢学才说出来？怎么办？ So you can see with my language, yeah, with different languages, you can tell I'm not a native speaker. However, there is a prosody there. And there's a prosody, say with my Thai, I feel comfortable that I could speak on any topic in front of any group of native speaking Thais, and they'd be listening to my message and not be distracted by the way that I speak Thai. So it doesn't mean that you're a zillion % native, but it means that the way you speak is amiable to the ear of a native speaker. So how did I achieve that? Did I start speaking from day one, or did I delay speaking and only start speaking once I'd been exposed to enough language? Honestly, I started speaking from day one. That's the truth. That's before I knew any of these schools of thought or anything. And yeah, sure, my grandfather spoke a bunch of languages. My Australian grandfather, he spoke Chinese, Japanese, Hebrew, Russian, German, French, Italian, Latin, a whole bunch of languages.
Jesus, like my dad, like he speaks bad English and Australian. And the bad English is just like a variant of the Australian. And he knows a couple of swear words in Maldi or marry, as we say. Like, we call it marry in our family, but everyone says no, Evildea. It's moldy. And I'm like, but that sounds bad. Like, I prefer marry. But anyway, like, the only word I literally know for that language is like Pakia. And that's because my dad would always be yelling at us when we were kids. And then like one day I actually asked him, what does this word mean? And he's like, I have no idea. People yelled it at me, so I'm yelling at you. And I found out years later it actually just means something like white pig or, pig or something like that.
And we used to play with sounds. We would play with the sounds of Chinese, of Japanese. We'd go through our hiragana when I was a kid. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. We would look at similar sounds between different languages and see how you could make the same sounds differently. So I've done some other clips before. How you pronounce, say, a D. D, the, D. And
this is what I mean. So the people who usually get really good at actually, mimicking natives, they're usually musicians or someone who just has, like a real fascination and interest in like phonetics and sounds and stuff. You can see this coming right through, and like I'm already well aware of this because like I've seen other videos on his channel where he's he's got all the charts up and stuff, and he's doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, this is I'm not that guy. I just want to be understood, understood and be clear enough that I don't make the other person's life hell. So it's like, I could probably be a lot better if I had this super duper interest into like phonetics like he does. But to me, it's not my interest.
And we would sort of muck around with how you could shift your tongue out to put on different accents of things. And so for me, it's not whether or not you delay speaking. For me, it's your acoustic intelligence. It's how you understand sounds and how sounds live in your body. And so now Evildea has mentioned this a few times where he said that he's not great with music. He can't play an instrument. And he believes then that because of that, maybe his ear also isn't as good. And I think there might be something to that. I have a 6-year-old daughter. And since she was born, I have been playing with sounds with her. And you can see the tools at crackinglanguage.com. So if you have a look at some of these tools here.
When he's talking about, playing sounds, it's almost like an experiment. It's like, today we're going to approach the sounds from this random Amazonian language, and you must guess which ones they are on the IPA chart. I know that's not happening, but like that's just like my mental image.
You can see, let me pull this one.
Is this the tones for Thai, is it? Oh, wow, there's a lot of tones.
On my compass up. So with, say, let me just get Thai. Now, this, of course, is the Sanskrit Abugida. This is, for those who don't know, the Thai alphabet, and all index scripts write in an Abugida that is a map of the human mouth. It's a GPS of the mouth. That's the back, palate, top of the mouth, lips.
I should probably... Actually, this might be a cool idea. Maybe I should get someone who is really good with phonetics and Mandarin Chinese and like do some videos with me, and they help me improve my pronunciation. Because obviously I am rapidly progressing through the language at the moment. And that might make for an interesting video where they pick out, you got to work on this, you've got your tongue position for this wrong, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of things they can pick up on. Maybe even this Cracking Languages or crackinglanguage.com might have something.
And so I built this for my daughter. Originally, of course, I want other people to learn as well, but she's been my guinea pig. And I've been teaching her ever since, even before she could speak, to play around with these sounds and even know the patterns. Ka, 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 nga, cha, 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 cha.
Building up a family lineage of linguists by the sounds of it.
Za, 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 zha. We play around with those kinds of sounds to the point that I would say almost now she is sound agnostic. If for example, the other day, I bought her these hiragana charts. And even without me telling her, you would know, say in Japanese, you would do things like sa, shi, su, se, so, ta, chi, tsu, se, so. When she hears these frontal T's, even to the point of the frontal T palatizing going to a chi, I didn't even have to tell her. She picked it up straight away and did it.
Man, that would be really cool if they actually had something like this in school. Where, like early on in school, kids learn the sounds of like just these different languages. That way, one day, if they decide that they want to learn, other languages or something, or even for music and stuff, this would just be something that naturally comes to them. It's kind of a cool thing. I really like it.
But she's feeling it as a T with a palatized I. Now, she might actually even know it from the pictures because she's been seeing these since she was a baby, but she has been immersed in sound intelligence, I guess, with music as well. She has perfect pitch as well. So if I say sing a C or sing a G or whatever note, she'll hear it and she can almost see it as a tangible thing. I tried to set the platform up for her to have this acoustic intelligence ever since she was little, and it's paying off. So now she listens to even, say, Russian or Chinese. I'll play games with her switching from Cantonese to Mandarin, and she swaps.
Well, we definitely have the answer to our question so far. I'm just kind of curious. I want to go check out this crackinglanguage.com and see if it does have Mandarin available. So what do we got? We got courses, cracking Thai fundamentals, general language, stroke order. Wow, this is actually way more complex than I imagined. Oh my God. Tunnel War right down here. For those who don't know, that's Lord of the Rings. Okay, maybe I am literally just straight up blind, but I don't see anything except for characters for Chinese in here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Stuart, if you've got something for Chinese, let me know. I'll just leave a comment and I'll pin it. And who knows, maybe we can work on something together where you help me out with my pronunciation.
From Thai to Lao, and she can swap, say the word Chang Sang, and then, because you know that in Thai, this Chaw Chang turns into a S, R turns into a H for Isan and Northern, and she can start to make those shifts. And is it exposure over this long period of time? Maybe, but what I think that does is it's giving you this acoustic, I guess, foundation that maybe didn't exist before. And so exposing you to those sounds are familiarizing yourself, your ear, your subconscious to those sounds, to the point then you can start to reproduce it. And if you're not producing a sound properly, so for example, if you say the sound you hear someone say and you've been exposed to that, and then you hear come out of your mouth, your ears, because they've tuned into that and they know isn't you're going to start this self-correction mechanism and be able to.
So the question I was kind of hoping to be answered, and I guess he can't really answer because he's never done it, is if you had an extended silent period listening to the language a lot like I did with Spanish, does that actually teach you sounds, or does your brain just adapt the sounds it's hearing to, like, basically map them to sounds it already knows? Like, are you actually developing the ability to hear unique sounds? Now, I'm not sure, because like with Spanish, there's not too many sounds that I would say are very different from the languages I know. So like, I would have to try for language like this vastly different with sounds I don't know anything about. I guess that's kind of the thing I would like to know, like because that's one of the reasons for why people talk about an extended silent period, is that you actually develop an ear for sounds that you were unable to hear before, and because you're now able to hear them, you're able to replicate them. So my journey with Chinese and pronouncing the sounds in Chinese sounds like it was similar to his own. Basically, I just tried the sounds, and then I had a native like give me feedback, being like, no, you're doing it wrong, you got to do this. And then like slowly after a while I managed to get most of them down, although some of them are probably a little bit wonky here and there. But still, I think my journey mimics his quite a bit, although he knows way more about phonetics than I possibly would know.
Correct. And that's what happened with me. When I learn a new language, I'll go in, not only will I listen to it, because I guess thanks to my grandfather, we used to play games with sounds. When I hear a sound coming out of a new language, I see almost this red light flashing. That's why I built these kind of mouth maps up, so that other people could at least see an actual visual thing flashing and see the animations and things there. But I see these things flashing in my mouth, and I can see that a d is different to a th, is different to a d, da, 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 like De Niro. Do it, do it, do it. You see in New York, some people have this really dental D. Not only do I notice those sort of things, it's natural for me to even move my tongue when I'm hearing sounds to sort of see, this person is placing it here. And then I'll start to train my muscles up. So I speak from day one. Now, I might get some of it wrong. I'll try it. But then I have the ability to then ask native speakers, is this what you're saying? Does this sound right? And if they say no, I'll try and correct it, and then I'll move that in.
This does back up my idea that musicians and people who are interested in sounds, which makes sense because, you know, they're both interested in sounds, are the ones who are probably going to mimic sounds the best, no matter what method you follow. But I am still curious about that other question. Can you develop an ear for sounds? Because like with Mandarin Chinese, when I think about it, I was able to produce the sounds before I was clearly able to hear them. So I remember early on practicing the sounds over and over with my wife, specifically like the X sound and the Q sound, and then eventually like the J sound and like a bunch of others. I remember practicing them over and over with her, and she's like, yeah, you got it. And I was like, I can't hear a difference. And she's like, there's a difference. There's a difference. But now I can hear it. So I'm not sure if I can hear it because I've mapped that in some way mentally with how I produced it. Like I learnt those sounds, and then later on, because I've learnt those sounds, my brain has now something to map against. Or if that's like two completely separate processes and I've just developed an ear for it over time. No idea. Very curious to know.
Almost my repertoire of sounds that I can produce with this instrument, my mouth. And even Marvin Brown, so the founder of ALG, his book here changed my life, okay, from ancient Thai to modern dialects. This was actually, I was given a copy of his doctoral thesis first by Domnern Garden, which was, he was also an amazing linguist here in Thailand. And that was probably around year 2000. And that changed my life. But you can see in here, he understood sounds. He understood them to like the nth degree. He understood how tones and structures and everything within the phonology of a language worked. And I believe that that also helped fast track him as he learned. Now, he came up with these other methods after he had learned on how to get it, and this is what may have developed into the ALG method. But he really understood sound. You look at everything within his writing, it's all about deep understanding of sounds and what the muscles in your mouth are doing.
That's very fascinating. I probably need to get my hands on that book.
Building out of the ALG program, I'm sure it works, but I believe that if you have an intelligence of sound and you've trained your mouth like an instrument, whether consciously or subconsciously, maybe that's what ALG looks to do, that's what can then lead to this native-like prosody. As adults, we have way more things that we can do and intelligence that we can apply to things that a kid doesn't have. Now, a kid also is practicing everything from day one. Their gugu kakas and mama and all of these things, the sounds are being put into their muscles from day one. It's not that they're not uttering a word. So saying that you learn like a kid, I don't think people, when they say that, they're actually learning like a kid. But I totally believe, and my own language learning is proof of it, that if you do understand sounds and you can start to analyze the sound, build it into your system, and this is over and above any of understanding the grammatical structures or other things, but seeing how the muscles work within the sounds of a language and rebuilding those into what you already have, adding to your repertoire of sounds and muscle movements in your mouth, you can speak from day one and not be locked into bad habits and develop native-like prosody of.
Now, obviously, most of you guys, including myself, we probably don't have this skill that he's got. And if you look at any of the YouTubers out there who are, talking about different methods and stuff, you'll probably notice if you watch enough of their content, like Matt vs. Japan, he spent so long thinking about, exploring, understanding pitch accent. So for someone to spend so much time on something, of course they're going to get good at it. They're going to figure it out, all the little details, and that's his fascination. That's what he cares about. And then you got Dogen, who's got similar stuff as well in the Japanese community. And it's like anyone who you hear who speaks generally really, really well, if you watch a lot of their content, after a while, you'll hear them like diving right down into like the nuts and bolts of these types of things, and you'll be like, okay, you've just gone to the extremes to figure this out. But I am still curious. I want to see where my Spanish goes under ALG, if I will actually develop a proper sound within the language. Obviously, it's too early to say right now, but like 1,500 hours, 2,000 hours, by 2,000 hours or 1,500 hours, somewhere in between there, we will definitely know if this has taught me the sounds. Damn, I was hoping I'd get some more information, but this is still a good video overall.
Fluency, if that's what you want. For me, it's what I want because, say, for Thailand or across Asia, I live here, this is my life here. I don't want to be treated like the foreigner just arriving on day one when I speak. I just want to have a normal life. So that's my impetus for wanting to have native-like prosody. Doesn't mean it's a zillion% perfect, but it's native-like to the point that people don't think to correct you. They just listen for what you're saying, not that you're a foreigner. So, do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the...
I don't think this is an agree or disagree thing. This is just like you presenting your experience and comparing that to, you know, other people's experience. Like, this is not something you can really disagree or, you know, agree with in a sense. At least I don't think so. But I will say, Stuart, if you want to reach out and you think you can help me with my Chinese pronunciation or something, let me know down in the comments. Maybe we could do some collabs or something together. I do want to eventually get my Chinese and my Spanish, these two languages, to the best of, like, to the best that I possibly can. Although, obviously, with Spanish, we're going full ALG. And with Chinese, we're throwing the kitchen sink at it. Okay, anyway, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll see you all next video, and if you're not there, well, Jesus Christ, I just choked on my own throat. Is that possible? Can you choke on your own throat? But yeah, whatever. You'll choke on your throat if you're not there.